Hello, my YouTube friend. Today I'm pulling down the curtains and we're going to have a fun video. We're going behind the scenes of my big major purchase that I made in March. I did a video called I purchased $3,800 worth of Funko Pops, that video. And it's been really popular. A lot of people really loved it, but I've also got a lot of troll comments. People are like,
"Oh, those are Beanie Babies. You're an idiot. Why are you buying that kind of stuff? You're wasting your money."
So I figured to answer my trolls and to show my regular subscribers and all you guys that regularly watch my videos kind of how I am a professional collector and how I buy collections, my thought process, and how I expand my collection while trying to not spend any money at all if I can. So let's get this started. So on February 25th, I was contacted by a guy who previously sold me parts of his collection throughout the last year and a half. So he sold to me once, then he sold to me again, and finally he said,
"Hey man, I'm just ready to get out of the pop game. I decided to sell all my Grails, all my expensive pops, all the stuff that I decided to hold back."
So he sent me pictures. Let's take a look at those pictures. Okay, so I was looking at the first picture. I saw a couple cool Godzillas, but I had those already. I had recently just gotten the Toy Tokyo. That was one of my top ones. Then the second picture came in. I was like, wow, okay, I really wanted that Godzilla. The blue Godzilla from Toy Tokyo. I missed that one when it came out, and I really, really wanted it. And then bam, whoa, holy crud. This was full of Grails. You had Indiana Jones, Red Hulk, The Thing, Unmasked Spider-Man. So many pops in this picture. I was like, holy. Okay, and then the next picture, I had a lot of these. I think I needed the Emperor, and then that picture, I needed the Palpatine and the Shock Trooper, I believe. And then the next picture, okay, I think I need Big Daddy, but I could sell the rest, so I could sell a couple to make my money back. And then the next picture, oh, okay, cool, Captain America. I didn't have the Unmasked Captain America. I know that one's kind of rare. Okay, these pops, these I have already, so nothing too exciting. Okay, there's Thor. I know I need the Thor from the Avengers. So that, holy crud. Okay, so again, another picture full of Grails. It has Rocksteady and Bebop. I didn't have those, and my mind is just starting to race. Okay, and then there's the Avengers. I know I needed Fury, and I needed Captain America. My brain, it's racing. Oh, and that Tossikin's really cool. I know that one's kind of rare. So, and then there's the Notorious B.I.G. That's a Grail that everyone wants. So I was just all of a sudden, and I was like, we have $300 pops in this collection. Okay, there's some cheaper stuff. That's good. I can sell the holy bleep. Okay, then you had the Dr. Dooms and the Wolverines and the Logan and the Green Goblin Chase. At this point, I knew I had to have this collection. And then the last picture, there was the Jango Fett. I thought that was a custom box. Wow. So, whoa, I was like, I've seen his pictures. He had the Thing in there. He had the Dr. Dooms. He had the Notorious B.I.G. He had a bunch of Grail pops. I mean, on the low end, he had some $10 or $20 pops, but he had a lot of $50 pops, a lot of $100 pops, some $200, $300 pops. I was just like, my mind was blown. I mean, during that time, during the winter, is when my store is the slowest. So as I said in that video, and a lot of people were like,
"Why are you an idiot buying all these pops? You should pay your bills."
The thing is, during the spring, this time of year, my store picks up and I start selling a lot of stuff. So in the winter, I struggle a little bit because of the bad weather. Not as many people are out. People aren't visiting New York City. A lot of my business is the tourists. People from out of the country. People that are visiting New York City. So a lot of my business comes in the spring and in the fall and not so much in the winter, and it's a little bit slower in the summer. So at the time, it's the middle of winter. I didn't have a lot of money, so I wasn't planning on buying anything. And then, bam, I get smacked with these pictures of this amazing collection. I was just like, holy. So I contacted him. I mean, I was very interested. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I had to have those pops because they're amazing. And for you guys who don't understand pops, then forget it. Just leave the video. You don't understand how amazing these pops are. So I wrote back to him. I said, listen, I'm a little bit low on money, but if you're willing to sell them for half the pop price guide price, I will buy them. But you might have to give me 2 or 3 weeks to make the money. And he said,
"You know what? Take your time. I'm not in a rush, but I'm happy to sell them to you for that price."
So he was happy with the price that I offered. And so I did a quick look. And I told him, I think it's going to be at least $1,500. It's probably more than that. I didn't really put them in pop price guide or anything. I just did a quick estimate of what I thought they were worth. And I told him, listen, it's going to take me about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to try to raise the $1,500. and then I'll let you know I'm ready to buy. We'll make a deal. So he said,
Okay, that's cool. Take your time. I'm in no rush.
So my heart's pounding. You know, it's racing. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to come up with $1,500 because, you know, every month my store has a certain amount of bills. I spend $5,000 to $10,000 every month on, you know, electric, paying debt costs, buying new merchandise, you know, paying all the bills to run my business. So I had to brainstorm. I had to think, how am I going to buy this collection? And I thought, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to sell some stuff on eBay. Now, I kind of hate eBay. Back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago, my wife and I, we were full-time eBay and Amazon sellers. We would sell up to $50,000 a month worth of stuff. We had 3 employees. We were working our butts off to buy stuff, to sell stuff, to buy stuff, to sell stuff, to buy stuff, to sell stuff. And at the end of the month, we would sell all the stuff, but we would only make like $2,000 to $4,000 profit. And it was so much work that it just burnt us out. And that's kind of when we decided in 2004, 2005, we wanted a physical store. Because the thing with a physical store, you have to be in the store to sell stuff, but you don't have to do the 12 hours a day of packaging, answering emails, listing, taking pictures. There's a lot of tedious labor that you don't have to do. When you're in the store, a lot of times you're just in the store chatting with customers, having a fun time. That's awesome. I rather sit and chat with customers, and then the customers come in and they do the order fulfillment. They go in, they find what they want, they bring it to your checkout counter, and they pay for it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are always asking me why don't I sell online or should I sell online. That's kind of why. I used to do a lot of selling online, but the amount of work you have to do to make $1 is so much, and I can make almost as much money just having a store. It's so much easier having a physical location to sell things than to sell things online. So I normally don't say I'm going to sell stuff on eBay. I save that for the times where like this, where there was this awesome collection I wanted to buy, and it motivated me to do the work. The motivation is just to pay your bills. There's no motivation. Oh, that's not fun. But if your motivation is like you work really hard, but when you're done, you buy this awesome collection you want, that's awesome. So I went around my store and I was looking for things that are kind of more expensive. The way we price stuff in the stores, usually I check eBay, I see what stuff is selling for, and I usually price it around the lowest price on eBay that it's sold for. I don't do an average. You know, if it's selling for $20, $20, $20, $40, $20, $25, $20, I don't take the 40 and average out and price it at $30. No, I'm going to price it at around $20 because for me, I make more money because I'm not paying the eBay fees. And for the customer who comes into my shop, they're not paying for shipping. So we both kind of win out. The prices aren't a steal, but they're very reasonable. And that's kind of how I price stuff. So I look around the store and I'm looking for things that are kind of higher priced. Everything I know is kind of at the eBay price, so I kind of know what it will sell for. And I picked out a bunch of stuff that was like $20, $50, $100, $200 that's been in the store for 6 months or a year. So I know it's something that my regular customers aren't buying. And I figured that's a way I'm going to start trying to raise money. So I tried to list $2,000 worth of stuff. It didn't all sell, and I didn't sell enough of it to pay for the collection. And some of the stuff I sold after I bought the collection, but I consider the money I made from that to pay towards the collection. So let's go through all the stuff I sold on eBay. Okay, first we had a Batman 608. I bought this a few years ago for $2, and I sold it for $10. It had a couple of fine ticks, so it was around very fine condition. Next, I sold a Beatles fan club thermometer. I bought it from a guy who used to sell at flea markets like 20 years ago. I bought a ton from him. So I paid about $5 and I sold it for $60. Next, we had a Blues DVD box set. I don't pay a lot for DVDs just because they're really hard to sell. So I usually buy collections for really cheap. So I paid $2 for that and I sold it for $20. Next was a Bob Marley 8-track that was sealed. I bought this in a giant collection of records and other things. I paid about $1 for it and I sold it for $20. The next was the CB Convoy unopened trading card box. This I bought a case like 20 or 30 boxes years ago, and I probably overpaid at $45 a box. So I was just getting my money back at $40. Next, we had a Daredevil number 181. If you saw my video from a few months ago where I bought a collection with a bunch of these, I paid about 75 cents for it. I sold it for $15. Next was the Elkhorn's Peppermint Stick 45 record. This is from a giant collection of thousands of records I bought, so I paid about 10 cents for it. I sold it for $15. Next was the Soldier Story FBI HRT action figure. I bought a couple of these a few years ago for $50 a piece. I sold it for $110. And then next, I had another figure that I also bought from the same person for around $50, and I sold it for $110. I was actually kind of happy to get those because I've had them for a while. Next, I had a couple of 1980s unopened cello football packs. I paid about $2 a piece. I sold it for $14. I believe when I bought these, I bought like 50 of them, like 50 for $100, something like that. And I actually had them for sale for $8 in the store, so I was happy to actually sell them for more than they had gone up in value. Next, we had a 1986 Garbage Pail Kids giant sticker unopened box. I bought a case of these as well, probably like 20 boxes for $900, and I was happy to sell for $90. I almost doubled my money on that. Next, we have an Invader Zim Series 1 Doom Gur action figure. I paid $15 for this for a couple years ago, and I sold it for $35. Next, we have a Jacques Cousteau Odyssey DVD box set. Again, I just don't pay a lot for DVDs because they're hard to sell. So whenever I can sell something that I paid $2 for $20, I'm actually happy because I probably bought a lot of DVDs that don't sell. And then the one Funko Pop I actually sold was Ariel and her Hot Topic exclusive nerd glasses. I paid $10 for that. I sold it for $35. Next, we have a Monkeys 1967 trading card Series B card set. It was complete. I paid $12 for it for a couple years ago, and I sold it for $25. And then next, I had 5 different Monster High Mega Block Series 1 figures. I bought these years ago. They haven't sold, so I paid wholesale $12.50. I sold them for $10. I took a little bit of a loss. I just wanted to clear them out because I was kind of sick of having them. Miss Marvel number 17. This is the second cameo appearance of Mystique. Really nice shape. I paid $5 for it a few years ago, and I sold it for $30. Next, we have the Naked and Famous Passive Me Aggressive You picture disc. I just bought this recently a few months ago. I probably underpaid for it at $10. I just didn't know how well it would sell or if I would be able to get the crazy prices that were on eBay because I didn't see them really selling, but I put it for $145. It sold. So happy about that. Next, we have a 9 Inch Nails All That Could Have Been 2 DVD box set. It was factory sealed. I paid $1 for it for a couple months ago, and I sold that one for $10. Sometimes certain DVDs, if they're sealed, they're a little bit easier to sell. Next, we have a Punisher comic book number 31. This is the first appearance of Barracuda. I believe I paid about $1. It might have been even less than that because I bought it years ago, and I sold it for $10. Next, we have a Queer as Folk Complete Series DVD box set. Again, I don't pay a lot for DVDs. I paid $5 for this box set, and I sold it for $29. Next, we have a Road Rash number 1 indie comic. It had a couple of issues, so it was about fine plus condition. I bought it from a thrift store years ago for $1. I sold it for $15. Next, we have a Rodriguez Coming from Reality vinyl record. I bought this in a giant collection of maybe like 5,000 records that I paid $1 a piece years ago. And I sold it for $175. Really happy to sell that. I've had it in the store for a while. I wasn't sure if I was going to get the eBay prices, but I finally just sold it on eBay. Next, we have a Criterion Collection Shakespeare 4 DVD box set. Paid $3. I sold it for $15. Next, we have a South Park Series 5 Damien Mezco action figure. I paid $10 for it probably a year or two ago, and I sold it for $33. Next, we have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 cassette tape. I believe this was only available as a promo, so it's kind of rare. I bought it in a giant lot of cassettes. I paid really cheap, and I sold it for $20. Treasures from American Film Archives 4 DVD box set. I paid $3 for this a while ago. I sold it for $30. Next, we have a Walking Dead number 39 in very fine minus condition because I had a few too many spine ticks. I paid $2 for this in a big collection of Walking Dead comics, and I sold it for $10. And then Walking Dead number 92. I believe I bought this in the same collection. I paid $2 a comic. This was like 3 years ago, and I sold this one for $30. Okay, so the way I look at it was the stuff I was selling on eBay, I made a profit. I sold 30 items. I made about $1,017 on those items after eBay fees and after the PayPal fees. And the cost of the items I sold cost me about $300. So I made like a $716 profit. So I don't consider that profit what I paid towards the collection because I wouldn't have made that profit if I hadn't been motivated for the collection. So far I raised over $1,000. I paid only $300 towards it, and that went to help pay for the collection. Because I figured I can take objects that aren't selling in my store and trade them for other objects that I could either sell in my store or I might add to my collection and kind of do like an object swap. That's kind of a good way to be a professional collector because a lot of times you'll buy giant collections and you'll swap out parts of the collections. You'll sell them over time. See, I want to talk about the difference between a flipper, scalper, and like a reseller or a vendor. People who own stores, they don't go looking for the hottest thing to flip and make a quick buck. In my business, I don't do that. I can't do that. First of all, I don't really want to do that because I don't want to hurt other collectors by trying to wipe out the whole area of all the hottest stuff. But also, it's a lot of work. It's a lot easier for me to buy a collection of, like one time I bought a tractor trailer full of records. I bought 70,000 records. And that was like 8 years ago. I'm still making a little bit of money on that collection. Every once in a while, I'll still sell something that I still have left over. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon when you run a store. You buy giant collections and you slowly sell that stuff over the years. It's not something you do overnight. You're not going in trying to buy the hot thing to flip the next night so that you make instant cash. You know, I have a lot of bills. I can't do that. It's too much work to make that $100. It's too much work to go try to find 5 chases to make $20 each. I run my store by buying giant collections and selling off the collection so I can pay my bills, eat, and collect. I love to collect, so it's a fun way to add to my collection while running my business. So I had raised over $1,000, but I needed, you know, at least $1,500, but up to maybe $1,800. My goal was to raise $2,000, so I knew I had to sell some more stuff. So what I did was, the other thing I had in my store a lot of that was kind of tying up a lot of cash was pull-up dolls. Now, I love pull-up dolls. I don't really sell them to make a huge profit because I only make $20 or $30 usually on each doll. But I love them. I like collecting them, and I like selling them, and I like meeting other people who collect them. So when someone comes in from out of town that collects pull-up dolls to my shop, it's so fun to meet them. So what I did was, since I had an opportunity to buy stuff for half its value, what I decided to do was have a big sale on pull-up dolls. I sold them at a sale price that made it so I was only making about $10 profit each. I was also selling the mini dolls closer to what I paid for them. But I figured it was a good swap because a lot of the dolls I've had for, 5 or 6 months, they weren't selling super fast, and I wanted to convert the money from those dolls into the Funko Pop figures. So let me show you some of the pull-up dolls I sold. Okay, so pull-up dolls in general have a retail price of between 90 and like 130, 140. So I dropped that down to, 70 to 110-ish. I think I might have sold one for 120. So it was cheaper than you would normally find them online or from different vendors, but still enough so that I could make a little teeny bit of profit so that I was freeing up the cash I had stuck in them, as well as making a little teeny bit of profit so that it was easier to buy the Funko Pop collection. So I listed it on the Facebook group, the pull-up buy-sell group, and I sold about 30 dolls. So I sold $834 worth of dolls after PayPal fees. Out of those dolls, I had paid $721. So I made just a little bit over $100 profit selling those dolls, but I raised the money I needed. Between the pull-up dolls and the eBay stuff, I raised $1,800. Now, I hadn't sold all the stuff yet, so I probably was closer to like $1,500. But I still had a bunch of stuff listed. So, and of all the stuff I sold for the collection, I ended up only paying $1,021 to raise the $1,800 I needed for the collection. Now all the money was ready. By the time I was ready to buy a collection, I had only hit $1,500. Once I hit that $1,500 in my PayPal account, I basically wrote the guy, I said, you know what, I think I have the money. I am ready. So he said, all right, cool. So the next day he came right in. And so I went through the whole collection. I thought it was going to be about $1,500, maybe a few hundred more. And I added it all up, and it added up to $3,800 worth of stuff on the Pop Price Guide price. So half of that was $1,900. I only had about $1,500. I knew I only had about $300 I could borrow on my credit cards at the moment. So I told the guys, I know $1,900 is half the price. I'm a little bit short. Would you be okay with $1,800 for the whole collection? That would wipe me out of all the cash I had. And he said that's okay. He thought he was going to get like $1,500. So he was very happy. So I ended up borrowing a little bit of money, but I ended up selling more stuff on eBay that kind of covered that. So I was good there. So I ended up I gave him $1,800, but I paid out of my pocket $1,027. That's what I paid for the stuff I had sold to buy the collection. So my cost was like $1,027 for the collection. So now automatically a lot of people are watching my videos and be like,
oh, you paid $3,000.
No, I spent like $1,000 for the collection for $3,800 worth of pops. $1,000 plus some labor. Now, since I took that $1,000 out of my business by selling the dolls and things, I knew I had to get at least that $1,000 back. So what I did immediately was, after I bought the collection, I just started pulling out all the duplicates and the things I didn't want. There's some stuff I was kind of like the Biggie Pop. I kind of wanted to keep it, but I also knew if I sold it, I would get $300 immediately. So in my mind, I was kind of thinking, See, the way I collect is, I'm like a gold mine, where you dig up dirt, the dirt gets washed away, and you get left with gold. But my store is more like a gold mine that sells the dirt and rocks, and I kind of keep the gold for my own collection. Kind of bad like that, but I find it's the best way so that when I need to raise more money, I can sell the really good stuff easily. So I put all my time and effort and energy into selling the stuff that's harder to sell, because that's the stuff that most people don't sell or they get stuck with. And it's also the easiest stuff to buy when people are selling their collections, because it's the stuff that, you know, they might list a bunch of pops and they sell the $100 pops, and then they list all the $8 to $10 ones that no one really wants. If I could sell that stuff, that's the easiest stuff to buy. So that's kind of what I buy from my store. I mean, I love buying the expensive ones, but I don't expect to get the expensive ones from my store, such as the same with any other kind of collectible. I always expect to get the more mediocre stuff. So if I can sell the mediocre stuff, that is awesome. That's the stuff. And I want people to buy it, to consume it, to enjoy it, to play with it, and not so much to hoard it away hoping there'll be more value. That's not really a good way to collect. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I pulled out about $1,000 worth of pops for my store, and I sold some online. I did like 2 or 3 days of selling. I tried to sell to my, I offered them to my patrons first, and then I offered to any viewer who wanted on my YouTube page, but it ended up being a lot of work. I think I sold like 3 pops after 10 hours of work. Really wasn't worth it, so I have to reconsider that again in the future. But I sold a lot of them in the store. So I ended up selling about $800 worth of pops, mostly in my store. So I got, I said I paid $1,027. I sold $800, so I got most of my money back, and it still cost me about $200 something for the. I kept $2,800 worth of pops, so I paid a couple $100 for $2,800 worth of pops. That's pretty awesome. But this is the reason why I do these videos. I mean, I make videos for YouTube because I love doing it. I love collecting. I love talking about collecting. I used to do a series of how to collect videos, and I kind of want to get back into that more because I want to help you guys be better collectors. And I'm going to open the curtains a little bit, and I'm going to show you how much money I've made on the 2 videos I made buying that collection. Okay, so I split the collection into 2 videos. The first part, I've made $169 up to May 9th, and then the second part, I made $114 up to May 9th. So as you can see, I've made up until a couple days ago, I made $284 on those 2 videos. And the last couple of days, I've been making like $5 a day on the video. If that keeps up and I make $150 a month or about $2,000 a year, I've created passive income that'll keep paying me a little bit. I don't know how much. It might go down for a while. Sometimes YouTube's like a roller coaster. Sometimes videos start going up and you get a lot of views. Sometimes they go down. Around Christmas, it pays a lot. So if those videos continue to get views and people continue to enjoy them, and over the years I get, $500 a year, $1,000 a year, even a couple $100 a year, it's worth it. I put in 2 to 3 hard weeks of work. I added $2,800 into my collection, and now I have some residual income. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use my passion to share with you guys and create a little bit of additional income so that I don't have to just rely on selling in the store, and I don't have to just rely on selling online. But instead, I can spend more time enjoying my collection and sharing it with you guys. Because that's what I love to do. It would be cool if one day I did YouTube full-time. But even if I did, I probably still would have a store. Because it's just really convenient to have a place where you can sell the stuff you don't want. Because as a collector, it's really easy to go from a collector to a hoarder. Where you end up with 10 of something or 20 of something. And I really don't advise hoarding onto things unless you really think it's going to go up in value. Otherwise, you might as well try to sell those duplicates and turn that money into something else. Just like I did with all the stuff I sold to buy that big Funko Pop collection. I didn't hoard onto that stuff. I converted it so I could get the pops. And I ended up getting my money back, or most of it, $800 back just selling it. But I've made other money through the YouTube video. I have more in the collection, and I've already used a bunch of these pops, like the Thing and the Red Hulk and the Dr. Dooms, in other videos. And I'll continue to use them in other videos because they're really cool pops. I know people like to see them. So I've created more of an inventory of my collectibles that I can use to create content with. I paid for the collection with a little bit of hard labor. And now I have a little bit of residual income. And passive income is the best kind of income you can create. If you can create a way to make passive income, it's really awesome. So if you guys really enjoyed this kind of video where I'm rolling the curtains down and kind of showing you my business and YouTube behind the scenes a little bit, I would like to do more content like this. I would like to share with you guys, maybe inspire you, maybe do your own YouTube stuff. I want to thank my patrons for supporting my channel and giving me a little bit more budget so that I can do more videos more often with better quality. If you want to help support my channel as well, I'll put a link right there for Patreon. If this is the first time watching my videos and you enjoyed this video, why don't you click the robot's face and subscribe? I like making videos for you. And I'm going to link to the 2 videos where I bought the pops for this collection so that you guys can check it out if you haven't watched it yet. Thanks for watching. Bye!